Hey guys, it's Amber from NotableInk.com. Today I'm doing some clean and simple heat embossing, and we're going to be talking some foil, specifically foiling on black cardstock. Happy World Card Making Day. Celebrate by making something handmade and giving it to a friend. That's what this day is all about. And the WOW Creative team is celebrating with a blog hop and giveaway. Follow my blog link down below to leave a comment there to enter for a chance to win a $25 gift card. I'm super excited to share these beautiful new powders from WOW. This is the Summer Scoops Trio, and it contains lemon sorbet, orangeade, and razzleberry. This is orangeade, and look how gorgeous that powder is. These are glitter powders, glitter embossing powders. That's razzleberry. So pretty. And then lemon sorbet. I'll also be using the Simon Says Stamp and CZ Designs Simple Patterns Trio stencils. There are stripes, dots, and diagonal stripes. I'm going to be using the diagonal stripes for the first card, so I've just taped that to the card. And I'll use the WOW Clear Embossing Pad to just ink that up. What's great about these stencils is that the stencil itself is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is an A2 size card. So it just fits perfectly to your card panel, and it's just so easy to ink up. Like, this just makes card making so fast and simple, you guys. I'm going to start off by adding a little bit of the lemon sorbet to the bottom corner of this, and I'm applying it in a diagonal direction so that it follows along those diagonal stripes. So this is orangeade. This might be the most beautiful orange embossing powder I have. It's like an orange soda. It's just, to me, the perfect orange. It's kind of a cool orange, which I love. Lastly, I added the razzleberry, and I'm just kind of knocking off any stray little bits with a dry paintbrush because I didn't pre-treat this cardstock with an anti-static powder tool. You certainly can, but as long as you're just holding your cardstock at the edges, then you shouldn't need to if you're not getting any skin oils on your cardstock. I'll just funnel that back into the container, and then anytime I use a glitter embossing powder, I start the heating process from behind the cardstock, from the back side of the cardstock. This is going to start the melting process, so it'll start to melt the embossing powder, which is going to embed your glitter in that embossing powder. If you start your heating from the front, then you're at risk of blowing all of that beautiful glitter away, and then your embossing is going to look more patchy and it's not going to look as solid. So I'll set this aside for now and create another background. This time I'm going to use the dot stencil, and I just use a little bit of purple tape to make sure it's good and adhered to the A2 size panel. I am heat embossing on Neenah Classic Crest Solar White 80 pound. Sometimes I'll emboss on the 110 pound as well if I want it to be a little more sturdy. Just keep your heat tool moving and about 4 to 6 inches away from your cardstock to prevent warping. Here I have Totally Amazing with Ice Teal, The Real Teal, and Gilded are included in this trio. And I've inked up my panel, and I'm going to start off with Iced Teal, which is a little bit more of the blue-green powder. These are also glitter powders, although they're not quite as sparkly as the Summer Scoops. And then in the middle, I'm going to go with Gilded. And I'm applying all the powders first before I heat emboss. So when I go to tip off my embossing powder, I kind of tip it to the side so that the gilded doesn't run over the other color. That just helps a little bit of the cross-contamination. And of course, I funnel it back into the jar in between each powder. So I've sped this up since you've already seen the heat embossing process, but same thing, I'm going to heat it from the back, start to melt all that powder, and then finish off the embossing by heating from the front. Let me show you the finished cards before we get to the sentiments. I wanted to create custom sentiments specifically for World Card Making Day. So you can see those here. Happy World Card Making Day, and celebrate and make some cards. My idea was to white foil these on black cardstock. So I went ahead and printed out some sentiments onto some cardstock. I have it on the Neenah Classic Crest Solar White 80 pounds so that you could see the sentiments. And then I've done the same printing on black cardstock. And here I have the WOW Fab Foil, and this is the white foil. So my idea, again, was to use the white foil on the black cardstock to create kind of like the reverse sentiment strips that you see from Simon Says Stamp. Like I use those a lot, but I wanted to create some custom sentiments. So I'll cut a piece of the white fab foil to fit the sentiments, and off on the side I have a Royal Sovereign laminator heating up, and I wanted to make sure it was heated really well, so I actually let it heat for about half an hour before I did the laminating process. So I'm just going to line up my foil, and then I have a piece of parchment paper that I'm going to use as a carrier sheet, and I ran that through the laminator. So here I'm peeling off the foil, and I can tell that it didn't really foil cleanly. There are some patchy areas. I only ran it through once. So at this point I thought, okay, well, let me just put that back down and I'll run it through a second time and see if that makes a difference. So preheated laminator for about 30 minutes, and I'll run this through a second time. So even running this through twice, I still got a patchy outcome, and this is on 110-pound black cardstock from Michaels. So then I decided to try it on Neenah 165-pound epic black cardstock. So normally I use this cardstock for die cutting so that I don't have to cut as many, and I can already see that it looks like it's going to be patchy. I ran it through the laminator twice. This is equally as patchy. So this is a really pretty smooth black cardstock, but what I'm finding is I'm still getting a patchy result. So at this point I was wondering, is it my printer? Is it my laminator? I wasn't really sure. I reached out to the WOW design team and a couple of my card making friends to find out that it could be a couple things. So it could be the laminator. It could also be the small amount of texture that black cardstocks have. My printer runs through on the manual feed straight from front to back, so I didn't think it was that the cardstock was getting bent or curled. So I tested it out on Neenah Classic Crest Solar White 80-pound, and it is perfect, you guys. So this is with the same laser printer on the manual front to back feed, with WOW fab foil. This is rose gold instead of white, and the same laminator, and I got much better results. So that leads me to believe that the black cardstock and the texture of it is the issue. So what I would like to know from you guys is, have you had success foiling on black cardstock? And if so, what is your winning combination? What cardstock are you using? So for now, I had to pause on the foiling idea because, at least on the black cardstock, because I used the only black cardstocks that I had. I still wanted to use the black sentiments, so I just printed them out on white cardstock with a black background in Photoshop, and that seemed to work well until I can figure out what that perfect black cardstock is for foiling with my laser printer and laminator, because I do want that really pretty shine. I am totally loving these new trios. I think the color combinations are fabulous, and I'm really liking these clean and simple stencil heat embossed designs. So I hope that you did too. Be sure to join us on the blog hop with the link down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. I'll see you soon with more inspiration.